Hey everybody, John Eric Poli here with my MMA news, and today we'll be taking a deeper look at the main event of UFC 292 with Aljamain Sterling defending his bantamweight championship against rising star Sean O'Malley. Gonna be a really fun main event, and I know I've said this in my previous videos, that this, as fight fans, this last few months is really a blessing in disguise. As far as the pay-per-view events have gone, we've had fun pay-per-view events recently. You know, the fight nights, not so much. Been not the deepest cards, not the funnest cards, but still, pay-per-view-wise, blessed with another big one here. Just before we get started, I do want to remind everybody that I did do a preview and a prediction for the co-main event. Weili Zhang defending her strawweight title in her second reign now against Amanda Lemos. That preview and prediction video, it's available here on my YouTube channel. It's also available at mymmanews.com if anybody wants to take a look at that. With that being said, let's start talking about this massive main event going down in Boston, Massachusetts this Saturday night. So just to give you guys kind of a blueprint here how this is going to work, giving you guys a few quick thoughts just on the main event itself. We'll do a breakdown of both fighters, take a look at the tail of the tape, take a look at what the odds makers think about this fight, and end it with a preview and a prediction. So getting started, the few quick thoughts. Going to be honest with you guys, first and foremost, I got butterflies already for it. It's been a long time. I'm not going to lie. It's as you get used to covering the sport, I feel like maybe you lose it a little bit sometimes. But there's certain fights where before it, you get those butterflies in your stomach. I'm already starting to feel it now. I'm definitely going to have it before the main event because this is an epic fight. This is everything that you want to see in a fight. A dominant champion versus a rising superstar. Sean O'Malley probably already is a superstar. Let's be honest with one another. He has so many fans. The look, everything else. He's has that Irish last name too. Going up to a place like Boston, Massachusetts, going to have a lot of fans in the arena that night. It has all the makings of everything you want to see in a title fight. Also, another thing to note, Aljamain Sterling, he is on a fantastic run here, really stringing together really nice wins, been extremely dominant as of late. And then you have O'Malley, who essentially, since joining the UFC off of Dana White's Contender Series, has been nothing but a superstar. He gained so many fans from that performance on the Contender Series with Snoop Dogg screaming O'Malley afterwards, to that one fight where he was injured, was able to hold on and get the win, and said that he loved Joe Rogan as he's laying off of his back. Literally just slam dunk after slam dunk for O'Malley. And the other last quick thought that I have, and this is something I want to see how it factors out, is we saw Aljamain Sterling fight recently in a close split decision victory over Henry Cejudo. That fight was just in April. This is a very quick turnaround for Aljamain Sterling. Let's see how the body holds up. But on the other side of it, we have Sean O'Malley. He hasn't fought in 10 months. That's a long time away from the octagon. Is it going to be somebody active and is banged up after back-to-back camps, or does that flow nicely for him versus a guy where what happened with the layoff? Are things okay? Does he have ring rust? All of those going to be answered on Saturday night. Now, let's get into the breakdown here. We're going to start with Aljamain Sterling, that he is the reigning champion. And fact of the matter is, you see it there, he's been dominant. It's been a long time since he's lost a fight. And that's kudos to him, too, because when you go this long without losing, it really says something, no matter what division you're in. But when you're in a division like the bantamweight division, which you can argue is the best and the deepest division in the UFC right now, that's absolutely impressive. You see the resume filled with all the big wins over big names, like, of course, Cejudo we mentioned before, TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen, just absolutely stud. Petr Yan, another one. Just he beat so many studs here. It's really impressive. And another thing I think that really opened the eyes to a lot of people was in Sterling's last fight. You saw that the striking could be very effective. It's very weird. It's very awkward. Henry Cejudo even admitted he thought he was going to have a big advantage in that department. The way that Sterling's able to mix in his shots, that's very weird and awkward. It was very effective for in that Cejudo fight. And Cejudo admitted he had problems. And that it is very tricky when you're inside of there. Will it be effective in this one? That's going to be the question. We do know that probably the best path to victory here for Aljamain Sterling is simple: wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. He will obviously have the big advantage in that department. All right, now, Sean O'Malley. I'll be honest with you guys here. I thought he lost the Petr Yan fight. Great fight. Don't get me wrong. I did think, though, that Yan did win that fight. But here's what it did show. If you guys remember, when O'Malley was coming into that fight, the big knock on him was because he was ranked lower. I think he was ranked like 10th maybe in that one. A lot of people were saying like, oh, Petr Yan's going to steamroll him. This is going to be it. Here comes the end of the sugar show, this, that, the other thing. Even if O'Malley did lose that fight, it showed he belonged. That was an epic fight. That was a war. That was a battle. He absolutely showed he is indeed one of the top bantamweight fighters in the world, and this here solidifies it here with the win here. He will be obviously the guy at 135 pounds. Another thing just to note too, the only blemish on his record, he actually got injured in that fight. I know people say it was from the calf kick. Other people want to argue that it wasn't. Of course, we always see him right when they announce his name, he puts the big 0 up that he doesn't actually have a loss there. But still, that's the only small blemish on the record. And of course, as everybody knows, Sean O'Malley's striking, it's elite as it gets. He's so long, he's rangy, the way he moves. I always say those fighters are the toughest people in the sport, and that's why O'Malley obviously has been extremely successful here as of late. Now, tail of the tape, I'm not going to lie, when you guys see this, you'll probably be shocked because I was shocked too. We'll get that pulled up. So first, Sterling, 34 years old, O'Malley, 28. O'Malley, obviously taller fighter, everybody knows that. He's always going to be the taller fighter within that 135-pound division, standing at 5 feet 11 inches. The part that shocked me, only a 1-inch reach advantage. Did not see that one coming. And I know when you see the way that Sterling's built, he's obviously has those longer arms, but still, I was really shocked at that one. I thought for sure O'Malley was going to have a big advantage in that department. So that's kind of a little bit of a question mark for me there. I'd be interested to see how things are going to play out with that. And of course, as everybody knows, Aljamain Sterling, he is really big. He's kind of been teasing this move up to 145 pounds here for a little while now. So we know that he is very big for that weight class. Now, taking a look at the odds makers. We'll run through the odds really fast here with you guys before we get into other stuff. DraftKings, they have Sterling minus 258, O'Malley plus 210. FanDuel, they have Sterling at minus 290 and Sean O'Malley at plus 215. BetMGM, Sterling minus 275, and they have O'Malley at plus 210. And finally, Unibet, Sterling minus 378. And they have O'Malley at plus 215. Just want to note with you guys, though, with the odds makers, those odds are from Monday. As the fight week goes on, because at the time I'm recording this, it is Monday. As the week goes on, obviously, numbers change. But it does give you that indication of where things are at. And the big takeaway from that is that they have Sterling as a 2-1 betting favorite. I didn't think he would be that high, but that shows you that the odds makers really like Aljamain Sterling in this one. All right, now, prediction time. Let's get into it. So first, I think the big question here is who can dominate their area. We know if this fight stays in the feet, it's going to favor Sean O'Malley. We know that once it gets into the wrestling, the grappling, all that, going to favor Aljamain Sterling. Which one can impose their will in their respected area? Also, like I said in the beginning, activity versus inactivity. We have Aljamain Sterling turning around real quick. We have Sean O'Malley off for a while. Somebody's going to have an advantage somewhere with that, you would think. That's going to get answered here on Saturday night. For me, though, when I look at it, Aljamain Sterling has more ways to win this fight. Of course, we know he has the big advantage in the grappling and in the wrestling department. But like I said, Henry Cejudo kind of said it after the fight that they just had. Sterling is awkward on the feet with his ability to strike. He just moves a little different. It's very weird. It's hard to get somebody to mimic the way that he does things there. So, I think he could be effective in certain regards. Obviously, striking favors O'Malley, but still Sterling could have some moments there on the feet. So, for me, more ways for Sterling to win. Wouldn't be surprised, I'll be honest with you guys, if O'Malley catches Sterling and knocks him out. Not shocked at all. I mean, you see O'Malley do it so many times. I'm sure this whole week they're going to be showing highlights of his one-punch knockouts and everything. It's definitely a possibility. But for me, I think, again, Sterling has more ways to win it. I know not the ideal situation turning around quick. I do like the guys that are active versus the inactives. The odds makers on the side of Sterling being a 2-1 favorite. I just feel like things kind of ride nicely here with Aljamain Sterling. I think he's the safer person to bet on here. Anybody wants to throw money on Sean O'Malley, again, I think your best bet's to do it for him to win by knockout. I feel like the later this fight goes, it's going to favor Sterling. Sterling is a member of the 5-round club. O'Malley has never seen the championship rounds. Obviously, these guys are bantamweights. They tend to have better cardio, but still, you gotta, I at least think, favor the guy that has done it before. So I do think this one probably will go the distance, but I think Sterling's going to utilize that wrestling. He's going to get the win on the judges' scorecards. So look for Aljamain Sterling to get a win via decision.